Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Rebel Heart Rose coming at you live with my best friend Lashana. She's recently become a teacher, and we're going to discuss an important topic today: education. Now, I have one question to start this thing off with. Why is education important in our life? Lashana?
Education is important because it's the fundamental to, getting a job. It's fundamental to reading about politics and make sure you're not being lied to or misled. Education is important to hopefully hand down your children, nieces, nephews, whoever, a better future because without education, we wouldn't be where we are today as far as most people. And,
Agreed.
and there's different types of education. Like it's not just like going to school education. There's education about, furthering your career in something to where you necessarily don't have to go to college. It's not always about college and degrees. There's other ways that you can get education without spending or getting a lot of loans for a whole lot of money.
And how do we deal with the misinformation, though? How we decipher
Always
the truth from fiction?
You always have to check your website because always on Facebook, I always see like a Trump supporter saying, sharing their site that says I love USA.com or I love Trump.com. It's something like very biased, like hyperlink. Like you're never gonna get the full truth if you always listen to that source because it's always biased. Like there's bias in the media anyway, no matter which website news outlet you use. You just have to have, do your own research and have a little bit common sense, basically.
Yeah, and do you feel as if you've learned more important things through your own research than from school?
Yes, absolutely. Because, like, as far as history goes, like American history, we just talked about the basics, the founding fathers. I say the founding fathers of, like, the Civil War, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, and that's it. As far as public education goes, but it's so much more in between that people are missing, and that's why where we are today because people have lack of knowledge. It says in the Bible, "My people lack," says, "My people perish for a lack of knowledge," and that's what we're seeing.
What would you suggest help fix that?
I would suggest like maybe having like a conversation. Everything starts with a conversation. Since with COVID, everything you can have like a group meet or whatever type of media outlet you want to use. And I would say like reading books. Like I'm trying to get back to where reading was fun and not just because I read for a class. Like if you go back to the reading fundamentals and all that, that would be a good start. But the thing is, there's so many people that are the invisible ones because they don't know how to read or really comprehend what they're reading. And that's another problem I see with this climate that's going on. People were taught to only believe this one thing, and that's how it's supposed to be for everybody else. And that's not true.
It's like they just want to believe it, whatever they want to believe in, instead of the truth. I know I try to inform so many people, but they won't believe a single word I say, and they won't do research on it. So how can we combat that? Especially those who only
Well, you were in
believe
and out.
like
My internet,
TV. Go ahead.
yeah, it goes back to like reading. Like at Pfeiffer, we both went to Pfeiffer, so we know we had to check like peer-reviewed sources. We had to do all this type of stuff. We couldn't just grab stuff from Google. Like we had to extensively search and go to our professors and do this and do that. before we even got a decent grade enough. So I think it's just like having research. You can't always believe what the media tells you because there is such thing as a lot of fake news. But with that being said, it goes back into like know what you want to find and go beyond what you always see on Google. Like if you, oh, and this goes back to the other point. Always research the person that wrote the article if they have a lot of credentials and stuff to make sure it's not some random person in their basement spewing hate for no reason. So,
And this has been going on for even 400 years ago. People were spreading misinformation, disinformation to discredit other people. You, even your race, both of our races, really,
hmm
even against our own at times. You know,
sure.
this is why education is important on your own. Do your own research. Let's see. Um, what is one thing that you wish you learned in school but didn't?
I wish I had learned that America, as we know it today, was built on the backs of Native Americans and of Black people. Because, like, what the textbooks don't tell you that there were Black people already here with the Native Americans way before Columbus even showed up. And this goes back to like foreign history, I guess you can say. But I'm like, we've been here. Like I hate when people say go back to your country. I'm like, we've been here. At least I know my family's been here. Like
As far as I
you can,
know,
yeah, I'm
go
like
ahead.
you can't tell somebody where to go if you don't know where they've been. So I'm like,
And I know so many don't know how it started. They'll use a certain thing they were taught in school, which was also misinformation back in that time too.
and the thing is, like for example, Abraham Lincoln. Yes, he did help to free the slaves, but people don't realize all the trauma we had to go through after the fact. We couldn't hardly vote. Like we tried to vote, we could have got killed or whatever. Like there was claws and stuff for us to push us back, like to stay where we are. That's the whole thing of racism. Everybody wants to be down here. The top race wants to be up here, but they want to keep everybody else below. And that's what we're seeing because we have many people of color running for office, Congress, or whatever, and the majority is not liking it. So my thing is, it goes back to basically it's really just down to this: you reap what you sow, and America is seeing what they did in the past is coming back to haunt them, and now
Karma.
it's come, and it's like you can't change the past. So what you gonna do about it now?
We can only change the present and how we react and our actions and apologize. Uh, apologize, but not go all the way down to, oh, I hate myself. But we can do the positive changes going forward. Make sure
hmm
your voice and native voices are heard even more.
Yeah,
And
and
make sure,
hmm
go ahead.
and then it also goes back to like the religion, because like a lot of people, if they don't like you because you're skin, they target you for your religion. That's not wrong. That's not right either. As far as like Muslim and Islam women, running for Congress and stuff. I forgot this. Like she's in Minnesota. She's like one of the representatives of Congress. I forgot her name, but yeah, she's taking a lot of backlash. But she actually won her seat again. So apparently the people in Minnesota like her. But overall, like all the Trumpers don't like her because they always use her religion or whatever against her. That's not cool. Because if Christians were truly attacked, they wouldn't like it.
Exactly. Then why attack other people if you wouldn't like it yourself? Goes to, it goes back to the golden rule. that we've learned. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. That should be a Christian value as well.
It
Well, I
is,
don't
but
know.
people don't use it.
Yeah, because they strayed from real Christian values till it's like having a what do they call it, a god complex for one race.
I feel like we haven't. It's like a God complex for Trump too, because it's like all his followers think he can do no wrong. Like he said before, he can shoot somebody, kill somebody in the middle of the street, and his supporters will still follow him. And he's telling the truth, which is scary.
It is scary, and how people can get behind someone who's not for inclusion and then complain about them not being included. It's a little taste of your own medicine, don't you think?
It is, and then it's always the one person that always tries to say, "Oh, well, back in the day, well, Democrats were the evil ones." I'm like, yeah, that's true,
They
but
switch
really,
platforms. They learned.
yeah, yeah, it's the present now. Like that argument is irrelevant.
The Democrats progressed while the Republicans digressed. Not all Republicans. There's some still. I've some I still have respect for since they stood up to Trump because they believe in doing what's right over their own party. And education will help us decide who's telling the truth or not.
But I will say this, to be honest with you, I don't like the Democrat Party either. But the thing of it is, compared for this overall election,
Mm-hmm.
I have no other choice to vote for Biden. I didn't vote for Trump in the last election because I didn't like him before this. But like, if we could find like a progressive, like legit progressive or nature party, whatever party, that's like truly for the values, not always about like the party type thing, I think it would be better for like everybody. At least one that can work across the board or across, whatever party line.
Yeah, I think this one quote from, even though he was bad president as well, but he was right that the two party system really divided America.
And that's what George Washington didn't want.
Hmm. At least he was wise in that one. I can't agree with everything else
Yeah, but like
overall.
yeah, like for example, like Abraham Lincoln, like everybody has him like the savior. But like if you go to another race, like the Native Americans, they would say, I think not. If
Yeah,
anyone's watching, mhm,
the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free him directly, but indirectly. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up too.
yeah, because that goes back to like state laws too. Like the government always overrule the state, but then the state made rules around it to where they can still not allow it to happen, go on.
And
Am I
it's
hearing
still
it
going
correctly?
on. And jail terms, how they're treating the prisoners, chain gangs, that's still alive and that's still technically slavery.
It is, and many people of color don't deserve to be in jail. There's a lot of people that do overall.
Yeah, we've
Like,
seen one in Just Mercy. That was
mhm.
one, a few cases there.
Yeah, and then lately there's been issues of a women that killed their abuser or husband or whatever, and they always end up in jail when they were trying to defend themselves.
Yeah, it's ironic. Some guys can probably get away with what they do to women, But when a women start to fight back, you get almost a lot. You get more than a life sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
but
jail system does need to change along with the education system. We need to learn this stuff.
yeah, and like it goes back to publication. Like what we should have learned in school was like how to file taxes, how to start a business, how to do things that will actually help us. Because Y equals mx plus two or b or whatever we learned, it didn't help me at all. Like
I
it's
think,
irrelevant. Great, I may use it for fourth grade, but
yeah, and you may use it for like if you want to get NASA and do programming and stuff, you'll need math. But other than that, you need basic skills like home economics at times. It doesn't matter who takes it. You need those skills to live off of. And
yes,
yeah, and balancing a checkbook and everything else what life teaches, and we were so unprepared for life. It's really beaten us millennials to uh,
yeah, it's like how to build and maintain your credit, how to get scholarships for college, how to save money for college before you go, so you won't have so much increased debt, and even how,
exactly.
and even if you don't want to go to college, but you still want to do so, how to go like trade school, which is obviously cheaper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because we still
These,
need people to We still need people to pick up the trash. We still need people to maintain the city streets, to clean up after parades or whatever. We still need those type of people. But if we can help them like get up in their trade to where they can work for themselves and have, make a decent living, that's just as good
have
as
their
me.
own job, yeah,
Yeah.
own their own company and doing that.
Mhm.
It's underrated jobs, but they're more important than anything else. Without
Especially.
them,
Mhm.
yeah, you can see us decreasing without them, like cashiers, store clerks, even the basic, even nurses. We're learning during this time which jobs, even though they were like taken for granted, they're not taken for granted now. Even though
But
some are acting heavy towards them now.
yeah, and that's the thing, because like when this pandemic started, I told myself, and I'm just being honest. I said I will not go back to retail for nothing because people are getting meaner now, especially with the whole mask thing. There was this black
Karens,
there was this black girl, like she got punched in the face because a customer said that she didn't like what she had to say, and all she was doing was telling them the store policy. I said I wish somebody would. I'll be on Channel 9 News in 30 minutes. Like that's just not happening at all. And then now parents are starting to realize like what all teachers can do too, or have to do. And it's like, oh wow. Like we just thought y'all just did whatever, and it's not whatever. If you're a real teacher that cares about your students, you have to go beyond the mile.
it's like everyone is trying to put everything on you, teachers. Like they expect you to do everything, like from protecting them to educating them to babysitting them and everything. And I
Yeah, and
bet
that
you, go ahead.
yeah, and that's on a parent's part because like I was raised in a single parent home, but my mom still taught me manners and basic things like when I was in kindergarten or pre-K or whatever. Like, and now these parents, I don't know what half of these parents do because it's just ridiculous. When you're like in first grade and you still don't know how to write your name or even know how to tie your shoe, that's a problem. Like, especially after second grade. Like,
Yep.
and they ever fail to realize we're only with their students for a few hours a week. they're with them every single day beyond the school hours. So they're the ones that have to teach them the right way, how to do things.
Yeah, it's like it starts at home before it hits school.
Hmm.
This is why education is very, very much important, and we don't need to be defunding schools like you know who is doing. Um,
And that Betty DeVos lady, I can't stand her.
yeah,
She's not even qualified. I'm like, how do you even get that job?
by kissing butt. Basically, if you want a direct and straight answer.
No.
And I did keep it PG rated, you know?
Hmm. That's
And
true, but like, people need to look up Dakota 8+2. It talks about how Abraham Lincoln signed something. Is like, I don't know, it's like a proclamation or a bill, whatever. But it goes about to like all these men were killed over nothing.
and
And
he still, I think he still led raids against the natives too.
she did.
So he wasn't a good leader either.
No, and then Andrew Jackson, he always gets the flack for, creating a Trail of Tears. But
That,
truthfully, honestly, that started way before him. He was the one that went through with it. That started way before he even came to presidency.
true, and he also adopted a Cherokee native who died at 16, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Because what he said about that boy, saying, oh, he got killed because he couldn't get rid of his savagery.
Mm.
If people only knew the educated part of it, they wouldn't they would be on edge and not believe in everything they see on either Fox News. Even I get a lot of my stuff from what you do. The PBS is
Hmm.
really good, and local news. Even local news is better than some of the main channels.
And if you really want to know what's going on, you can watch like foreign news. Like on one PBS station, they have like news that comes from Japan, one that comes from England. It's starting to thunder now, but yeah, all these different news sources. And they speak in English, so you understand what they're saying.
Yeah, and BBC too. BBC's really good.
Hmm.
But anyone who could stand behind someone who just already shown you he doesn't care about people. He's already shown you that.
He only cares about the
Um,
people that care about him.
exactly, and that's not a president. You have to be a president to all people, not to only those you choose to. And this is where I've had problems with some churches. They do the same thing, especially in some evangelical churches. They only help those they choose to help, not help everyone. Which is why I hesitate to even think of attending a church because they're doing all this. They don't realize it's wrong, and they're not educating themselves because they want to be right all the time, while everyone else is wrong.
I always don't like the Christians that always say like, "Oh, Jesus was a Republican or a Democrat." What?
They didn't have it back then.
I say, I think you better read the Bible again, buddy.
The fact that some people can't even take in that Jesus wasn't white is pretty much sad. If they did history and research on where the Middle East is, Isn't it a part of Africa?
It is. It's a continent.
Just think about that. And black people can be Jews. Period.
I'm like, now granted, I will say this: not all black people came from Africa,
Hmm.
because some of us were mixed with Native Americans, so we were in New Zealand. We were on these little places around the world, like Hawaiians, like stuff like that. It's like my uncles always used to tell me, whenever there was a war, there's black people. So there's black people all over that have origins like from other races in one place. So
Yeah, Bill Nye said something about all of us originated from Africa, though, and then expanded out.
true.
And the different areas where we live in determines our melatonin levels, our skin color.
Hmm.
So all of us are a part of only one race, the human race. If you think about it, we all
That's
came. We shouldn't even be dividing based on what we look like. Education wise, we are similar. We're the same.
Yeah, but like the thing of it is, like I'm tired of people politicizing everything. Like people always want to politicize Black Lives Matter when another black person is killed, or they want to use like the 5-year-old was just recently killed, which is terrible. That I forgot his name, but they found his killer like a day or two after. But the purpose of Black Lives Matter is for the police agency of,
Brutality.
yeah, police brutality. And people always want to try to mix the two together, and it's not like that. Like I can support Black Lives Matter, but also, support his family that what they're going through, because no child should be killed.
No, and there's even Native women that's gone missing that ain't getting into news that much either.
And that's true, and it's scary because like where the oil rigs and stuff, and like in Dakotas, like all these little pipelines they try to put in these native remote places, they're part of the problem. Like they're destroying the environment, and all those men, think they have the right to kidnap or rape and do whatever, and that's not the case. And then the scary part is because of districts, jurisdiction. I can't talk, but you know what I'm trying to say. But like, it's native agencies, and then it's the government. Like, it's different laws and stuff that kind of complicates things. But now they're trying to change that. See, like, if for example, if I dated someone that lived on the reservation and I hit them and they wanted to press charges on me, they could. Before, they couldn't because I'm not a native citizen. So I'm glad they're doing that. That's for like I guess to combat the domestic violence, whatever. But yeah, they're really trying to change that, and that's a good thing.
That is
Because
good.
even in Cherokee, you can be banned non-native or native. Is anybody on here?
I haven't seen anyone pop up, but we're talking. They'll
Okay.
probably look later if it goes on.
Yeah.
And besides, this is information that they should be watching, but education wise, the truth ain't easy to hear.
Yeah. Because honestly, I try to take news from all sources, excluding Fox, but like PBS, CNN.
Yeah. Fox is proven not to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Especially
It's
Tucker
like
Carlson.
Yeah, that's one channel like I would never watch for anything.
Yeah. Even I mean, there are times CNN goes some too far at times. But I do like one person on CNN. He's pretty much good. And he's his brother's the governor of New York. Cuomo.
Mhm. Mhm.
Those two I like.
If anybody should have run a president, it should have been him.
I get behind that one. And it's so exciting that a first Native woman in Iowa is running for a seat,
Mhm.
Congress, and and she said something on Twitter about this nasty woman's running to be the first Native. I said, hey, but how can anyone tolerate a president who calls women nasty just because they're what independent, strong? They don't take anything from them. Anyone who would support that ain't much of a man, in my opinion.
No, but the thing is, he said worse about women though.
Yeah, he has.
That's
And that's why
now.
I'm not mentioning it on here.
Mhm.
Because you told me to keep it P level,
Yeah, I
PG
mean,
rated, you know? Because I know
I
he said worse.
yeah, and I appreciate that, but yeah, I'm like, and now it's become like a new thing on Twitter now. But yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
like, I literally tune him out. Like, I can't stand to hear his voice. I can't stand to see him. Like, I hate it when I always get like a notification that the president's online or something like on Facebook. I just immediately log off. Like, I switch to TV, I turn it off. Like, I can't deal with
Yeah.
him.
I feel like if I listen to him, my brain cells drop.
Seriously. Because half of his
Can't
followers,
even
not all
speak
of them.
eloquently. Even I speak more eloquently, and I'm not even fit to be a president yet.
And he's trying to get us to get more money so he can have more votes in the election.
We all know the Democrats actually begged the Republicans for us to have a second stimulus check.
Yeah, but the Republicans
Even
don't like that
Kamala fought
amount.
for that. I've noticed Kamala fighting hard for that. She has really accomplished a lot. I
She
kind of
has.
wish I kind of wish we did have a woman that made it, to be honest.
Yeah, we could have had Hillary Clinton. We could have been living our best lives, but nope.
Hillary did warn us. Hillary did warn us, though. She
So
knew
did
something
Obama.
was. Yeah, so did Obama.
I think I
Um,
don't know. Did Clinton say anything? Like Bill Clinton? Did he say something about it?
I don't know, because a lot of people were still holding him in low disregard because of his
Incident.
time in office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people always try to blame Clinton for like Hillary for like, oh, what's the amount? But
Well, at least Bill Clinton didn't put America at jeopardy.
thank you.
I mean, you could forget. I mean, that's not even near as bad as what's happening now. I mean, seriously, if you compare, it's like comparing the apples to oranges.
Yeah, and then Trump like put a target on freaking military on
Yeah,
the whole
and
country by getting involved with Russia.
literally, and he knows what dates to actually have his meetings on. Exactly specific dates that are anti-racial. Someone's telling him to put him on those dates. Because I literally don't think he knows this history.
No, and people don't realize he's trying to block the USPS so there'll be less votes coming in. Because there's a lot of elderly people that don't want to go out because of the virus and they want to vote
It's
by
okay.
mail.
Exactly. Only he can vote for mail because he's president. That's the attitude that needs to be stopped. A president shouldn't be above the law. He should be tried. He should have already been impeached. Are you going to
I
read
said
that
if he
book?
was in
Are you going to read that book by that Cohen, where he's ratting on the president?
I want to
I
get
think
his
about
niece.
getting my hands on it.
His niece wrote a book too that just came out.
Yeah, Mary. That's the first time I think I actually like a Trump.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Are you about ready to go?
Yeah, because my service is acting shady and it's getting thunder here.
Okay, it was nice talking to you, and we'll
Oh,
continue this some other time.
oh yeah, and we can continue the education discussion.
Yes, we can. We need to do it again. Hopefully by then I'll get more viewers. Until then, ciao for now,
All
Lashana.
right, bye.
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 And I'm going to end it off here. And I'm going to have her back soon. I enjoyed that talk with my friend, and I'm going to end it off by saying I think I love doing these more and the fun time thing. I might mix some up. Please leave your comments in the comment section. If you want more of this, let me know. And ciao for now. I'm just really happy to try something new. We'll see. Ciao for now, peoples.